Good morning, everybody. We've just discussed how many jobs are created in America. We've discussed how the jobs are being sent overseas and the government no longer tracks those jobs. It's like they're trying to hide them. We've discussed the foreign born versus the native born workers and how the foreign born and 20% of the workforce are getting almost 50% of the jobs. The evidence is overwhelming. We can dig into this and dig into it and dig in it and still come up with the same conclusions. Today I want to discuss crimes against humanity. But first, let's do the housekeeping. Name's Virgil Beerswell. VBSenate.com is my campaign website. Yeah, I'm running for senator. Do I think I stand a chance of winning? No, not really. Unless God maybe's on my side, maybe. Because what's being done is wrong. And I'm the only one that's discussing it. Nobody that's running for any office in America is discussing jobs. Nobody. I don't care if they're in the office now or if they're campaigning to replace those in the office now. Those that want to reach me, vbeers@gmail.com. It's my email address. You can send me an email. I will respond. My website is guestworkervisas.com. A lot of information out there if you haven't seen it yet. Are you looking for good paying jobs? Most Americans are. Can't find them. They don't understand why. We understand why, and we try to show you why. Vote for Virgil Jobs, guys. Most of you don't ever vote. You just get out there like you're the last person that just sunk on that ship, the Titanic, and you're out there on that piece of wood out there in the ocean, and the water's freezing and everything, and the only ones going to survive are the ones with jobs. You need to get out and vote like that, because if you don't, kiss your ass goodbye. VBSenate.com is my campaign website. My number, you can text me 325-215-1886. I do respond to text. Don't call me. I won't answer it. Get too many damn crap calls as it is. Let's talk about some crimes against humanity. First, let's lay out that a lot of you guys think this is only just now happening. The boomers caused it, and we're paying the price. Bullshit, folks. Wake up. Put your big boy panties on and grow up. History has repeated itself for the life of this earth. I want to give you a little example for you children out there. You might want to cover your eyes though. Pretty rough.
On December 14th, 2010, just 3 months shy of the 100th anniversary of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in New York, a fire broke out at the Hamin factory in Bangladesh in the outskirts of Dhaka. It was an 11-story building. It was lunchtime. There were workers in the cafeteria on the 11th floor, and they started to smell smoke. They didn't panic. They did just what the workers did at the Triangle. They started to go towards the exit. The workers tried to get out the exit, and the flames were so great and the smoke was so dense, they had to retreat. They ran through the cafeteria to the other side of the building, the west side, and they tried to go out the fire exits, and the exit doors were locked. They were trapped. Those workers jumped off the top of the building from the 11th floor. They left off the building for the same reason, so that their parents could have their bodies and they could be mourned correctly and they could be buried correctly. Workers on the ground thought these were bales of clothing that were being thrown out the windows. It's word for word the exact same thing. At the Triangle factory, the exit door was locked. The exit door was locked at Hamin 100 years later at the factory fire at Hamin in Bangladesh. And you know what the workers told us? They said that often management locks the exit gates during a fire so that the garments can't be stolen. 29 workers were killed. Over 100 workers were injured. 36 of them seriously and were hospitalized. The management paid the families of the deceased workers $2,080 as compensation. That's what a life is worth in the developing world now. still, in the global economy today, not one change. In fact, it gets worse. In Triangle, they made 14 cents an hour. But when you adjust that for inflation, that 14 cent an hour in 1911 is worth $3.18 today. The workers at the Hammam factory in Bangladesh on the outskirts of Dhaka, they're making at the top wage 28 cents an hour. That means that they're earning, their wages in Bangladesh today are 1/10 of what wages were in the United States 100 years ago. We're racing to the bottom.
Charles Kernigan, director of the Institute.
Yep. You think this has never happened before. It's happened over and over and over throughout history. We know who's doing it. We have the names of our corporate executives that are doing it. We have the names of the board of directors that are doing it. This is not somebody acting anonymously in the darkness of night. These people are going on your national TV. They're bragging about it. They're saying we can't find enough workers, so we got to bring more workers in from overseas. But yeah, we have evidence. If you watch, there's a lady named Amanda, the job chick. She was just recently shown on Eric Rice, Rice Report, and they're talking about these ghost jobs and all this, where these corporate executives put out these ghost jobs to try and keep the workers in line. That's kind of like locking the door on that factory that just burned down and those people jumped 11 stories to their death. We know they're doing this. We know who's doing it, which corporations are doing it. We don't see them being tried for crimes against humanity. Mainly because it's the politicians that are enabling them to do this. When's the last time you heard anybody in the media or a politician on TV get up and say, hey, uh, Jeff Bezos sold out the world's workers so he could build this big yacht. And we're going to seize that yacht. And we're going to display all his trophies as we put him and all his trophy wives in jail for crimes against humanity. Have you ever heard that? How about Mr. Wonderful, whatever his name is, the guy that always advocates sending your jobs overseas to China? And recently when Trump come out and says he's going to charge $100,000 per head for H-1B workers, I didn't watch it, but I heard that Mr. Wonderful went on TV. Oh, you can't have that. We need the workers of the world. He's another one, putting you and your family, throwing you under the bus and running over with you with a steamroller, while he pockets the difference. Folks, I want to see everybody in every country be able to have a job to provide for their family with the skills that they're willing to acquire. If their skills are good or great, I want to see them live a very long and prosperous life. If their skills are average, I want to see them live a very long and prosperous life at their ability by taking care of their families. What we have is not a world that can continue on in this manner. We know who's doing it. We know why they're doing it. Why do we not see their names on trial? Why do we not see the names of the politicians on trial? Don't you think it's time? I do. That's why I'm running for Senate. I don't want to be a senator. I could care less. I just wanted to work. There's a line in one of the most recent Star Trek movies where Khan says, you should have let me sleep. Well, for me, you should have let me work. If you would have let me work, you would have never heard a peep from me. But you didn't. You destroyed my life 22 years ago. I'm living in a goddamn garage, even though I got some of the best technology skills out there. You tell me where the justice is in that. There ain't none. And what pisses me off worse than anything is the people doing this to us are getting away scot free. They're not being held accountable. Who is being held accountable? That person on Medicaid who may or may not be able to work, who may or may not have seen their jobs go overseas or guest workers imported to take their jobs, who for some reason or other can't find a job or maybe even doesn't want to find a job. In this environment, who can blame them? They're being held accountable. Oh, Governor Cornyn, Senator Cornyn has come out publicly on record and saying they need to get off the couch and get a job. Just because I sent their jobs overseas and imported workers, deprived them jobs, and just because Texas is using Texas state taxpayer money to take their jobs from them, that don't mean they can't find a job. And we're going to cut their Medicaid and their SNAP and anything else they come up with just so we can make them find a job. That way they can pay the price for what they have done to humanity. The reality is, Senator Cornyn did this. He should be paying the price. Him and Governor Abbott and their howdy modi parties. And don't even get me started on this Islam stuff that's coming into America. That is wrong for anybody that loves freedom. Can you imagine an alarm clock going off at 5 a.m. saying you got to go outside and pray in the streets? I'd shoot that fucking. Tim Virgil, watch your language. I would shoot that. I would be up there on that building, cutting the wire to that speaker. Ever watched Red Dawn, I think it's called? Wolverines? The Wolverines are going to rise again in America. Not because they want to, because they have to. These people sending our jobs overseas, these corporate executives, the only reason they're not hanging their head in shame is because we haven't drilled in on them. We haven't exposed them. When they walk into the front office of their corporate high rise, they need to see their sign, their picture and their name and their salary on the sign out front so everybody else can see it. When they go home at night, they need to see on their privacy fence their picture and their name and their crime and how much they're getting paid to destroy Americans. When they go to the country club, that bottle of whatever they're drinking needs to have their picture on it, their name, and what they've done to humanity. We want to make it so that they can go nowhere, anywhere in the world to escape it. I don't wish anything bad on it. I want to bring them to their senses so they'll work to reverse all the damage they've done. But if we don't hold them accountable, we can't do that. So you tell me, do we charge them with crimes against humanity? Or do we just turn the other cheek and add another rock to our cover so that we're protected from the elements as we seek to try and survive in the land where we can't find jobs to pay the bills, and if we can't pay the bills, we can't live? Is that what we want? It's not what I want. Let's expose these bastards for crimes against humanity, folks. How about it? As always, name's Virgil Beersville, running for Senate. I could use your help. We need somebody in Washington, D.C. desperately that will demand answers to these questions. There's nobody in there now. Do I stand a chance? Nah, I'd give me about a .01. If God's on my side, maybe a 99.9. What we're doing is wrong, folks. But if we don't stand up, it ain't going to get better. Thank you. Goodbye.